After the baseball season, we're here on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast to help you win your leagues down the stretch here. All coming up next. Happy Sunday evening, everybody. A little bit later than normal, but happy Sunday anyway. I'm Scott Jenstad, joined as always by Jeff Erickson for the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. We are sponsored by So Rare. We appreciate them for the sponsorship there. Jeff, 2.5 weeks left of the season. It feels in some ways like it's been really fast. It feels in some way like we have 4 years left of the season, but we're here. We're 2.5 weeks left. We got 2 more FAAB periods left. If you don't include tonight, we'll talk about tonight's, but tonight was 3 to go. How are you?
I'm good. I've gone from rooting for the season to end to rooting for the season to last a little longer because I've fallen off. I'm in the second in my league and, could need to make some ground. It's still tenable, but my pursuit of closers has cost me dearly.
I was going to ask you off the top. Did your pursuit of saves go any better this week?
Well, we did get Domingo Acevedo, who was our top and perhaps only relief pitching bid that we did. Alas, it wasn't our first choice. Like Hunter Green was our first choice in that league. We're actually, we're at the point now where we have to start like covering strikeouts again.
Yeah. It's funny. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. I'm like, yeah, you can go 5-4 for a while, but at some point the strikeouts you notice will tend to make a difference. Hunter Green looked awesome in his start back.
Yes, he did. 11 Ks.
Yeah. For all the talk about our Reds and our A's, like your Reds have a lot more interesting guys. At least you 40% of the times when Lodolo and Green start. At least that's fun. I've got nothing to watch over here.
Yeah, just wait till they bat, though, is the problem.
There is that. I have no batting or no pitching, so it's rough. We got Isaac in the chat is mentioning Alexis Diaz, Dylan Floro as some possible save opportunity guys. We'll jump into saves when we get to FAAB in a second here. But yeah, Acevedo's interesting because Acevedo was kind of my sneaky saves pickup guy in the start of the year. It only took until September 18th for that to work out. So that
for everything else to fall by the wayside, basically.
Some really good advice there.
Yeah. I actually did draft him in Vegas, Maine, but obviously did not hold him.
No, that would have been a tough hold. It's been a mess there, but we got 2.5 weeks left. Are you feeling good? Are you feeling you're just attacking categories? What the heck's going on in your head these days?
A lot of things are going on in my head.
It's
my daughter's turning 18 tomorrow. That's going on in my head.
By the way, someone mentioned Kyle Finnegan in the chat. Kyle Finnegan's long gone. Your daughter's turning 18 tomorrow. Holy crap!
Yeah,
when did that happen?
Happy birthday, Allie!
Wow.
Hour and 45 minutes.
What does one do for an 18th birthday these days?
We're gonna go out to dinner tomorrow night. It's the month of Allie, though. We're gonna go out of town this weekend.
Nice.
We're gonna go to Vegas. So that'll be fun.
The Vegas age is 21, not 18, right?
I'm aware of.
I thought you were gonna say,
for gaming purposes.
I thought you were gonna say Tijuana.
We're gonna go see like a show.
Oh, nice. What show?
The Beatles show.
Love.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I have not seen it. Go out to a couple of nice dinners. Just should get to do some shopping and have some fun with that. And then she's gonna have like a family party and a friend's party, and there's lots of stuff before.
That is awesome. 18. That's wild. So you're off the hook as of tomorrow.
No, forever hooked, and happily so.
Yeah, that's good. But I mean, baseball wise, you mentioned you dropped out of first and a second your league. How are we talking way far back? We're talking a couple points back. Can it switch over a day?
Currently 3 points out.
Okay.
It's been anywhere from like 1 to 3.5 points.
Do you have some clumped up categories to really attack and gain some ground in?
Yeah, I need to get some strikeouts. If actually, there's a couple like head-to-head things that could really change things up a little bit there. I think I can catch him in. I'm pulling it up right now. Where can I catch him? There's one offensive category I can catch him. I think.
Now, is that catch him in particular, or just catch anybody to gain points?
Catch him.
Okay. So that's a 2-point swing. That's big.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. Oh, it's actually ERA. ERA is vitally important right now. Saves I've given up really, although still it doesn't hurt to get them, but I'm now 7 points out of getting saves, and I'm protecting my downside is 3. I'm smack dab in the middle in saves. I've got 45 saves.
Yeah. And obviously, it goes without saying, like category management, figuring that out is important. I looked at one of my online leagues today, and literally, I cannot move in strikeouts, wins, or saves. Like, no matter what would happen in the last 2 innings, there's no way I can move up or down. So it's a weird situation because I need ratios, but I'm trying to figure out, like, do I want starters who pitch a few more innings can affect the ratios, or do I want closers who are more likely to have good ratios? It's a good little switch there. But yeah, it's funny when you look at some categories. I mean, there are spots where you can't move at all.
Yep. Ironically, I'm kind of counting on John Posma to do some of my dirty work for me. He could catch Kelly Ugansky in a couple like runs. He could catch him. He could catch him in homers. He could catch him. Yeah, he's like my Huckleberry basically. Saves, he could catch him. I need him to do some work for me.
That's a good Huckleberry to have because John will battle to the final gun. So that's one guy that he'll be running the best team out there that he can. But let's look into week 25 here. We got it's a nice week. We got no 5-gamers this week. We do have 2 day games tomorrow though, Jeff. So make sure you're paying attention there. We have the Twins and someone at 10 in the morning, and then there's a game at 1 o'clock also. I'm looking to see who it is. But the Twins and Cleveland Guardians play at 10:10 Pacific, and the Mariners and Angels play at 1:07. So we've got some early games tomorrow. If you're setting lineups, make sure that you do so before the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't overlook that, especially trying to get those extra starts. I mean, Twins Guardians is huge for them, both of those teams, especially for the Twins if they want to have any shred of a chance of staying alive in the AL Central.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Mariners Angels, that's an interesting one to have that early start time. Is that a doubleheader or is that just like can't imagine it's a makeup game?
It's a wraparound. They played this weekend. So
that's right.
It must
both of those are wraparounds.
Yes, you're right. That's true. Twins Guardians played 100 innings the other night. It was the longest extra inning game with the Ghost Runner I've seen in a long time. But
was it 15 or 16?
I think it was 15 when that finally ended. But I'm so used to like 10th or 11th. It's done. But it was the 14th inning. I was like, what the heck is going on? There were 3 straight innings, so 6 half innings where nobody scored at all, which is hard to do when you start with a guy on second.
Yeah, it is.
So early games there. So make sure you pay attention. No 5 games. We do have 2 8-game weeks this week. We have the LA Dodgers with 8 and the Diamondbacks who have 8. Also, they obviously play each other. They have a 5-game series to start the week. Interesting series there because I have a lot of Diamondbacks, but it's tough because the Dodgers are going to throw 1, 2, 3 lefties out there, and 2 of them are Kershaw and Urias, and then Dustin May's in the middle. So you love the 5 games, but they're not the greatest lined up 5 games I've ever seen.
No, especially for my Josh Rojas, who is now sitting against lefties.
Yeah, I have Jake McCarthy and I have Corbin. What is Corbin Carroll? I don't know why I can't get his name right. Corbin.
Corbin Carroll was correct.
I don't even know who Connor Corbin is. Corbin Carroll. I have him, and he's been sitting against some lefties also. So that's going to be a tough one. I mean, a lot might determine on what their lineup looks like tomorrow against Kershaw with the thought that if one of them in there, that you guaranteed probably 3 or 4 games. And if not, maybe you get 2, maybe you get 3. So it's tough with 3 lefties. But I think I'm starting Jake McCarthy no matter what anyway.
Yeah, he's been so good.
Yeah, he's been awesome. He's hitting 3rd now too, and even the other night they got 4 hit. He had 2 of them. It's like it's so rough when you look up. You're like, oh, this team got 4 hit. I know it's gonna be bad. And you look, your guy had 2 of them. At least it feels a little better there.
Dude, there are nights when, and I know you are too, dealing with this, where my whole team has 4 hits.
Yeah. I had Friday and Saturday night. I think I hit about $120. Today was really good. I think I hit like 380 today. Finally, I didn't even look at box scores until after the 49ers game, and I flipped over, and it was nice actually some crooked numbers in the box score. It had been a while. My team was hitting about 205 for the week before today, so that was a much needed infusion to the offense for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the news about Rojas facing 3 lefties is very suboptimal for me. I mean, I'm looking at, he sat 3 out of the last 6 games, and he's been a stud this year. 19 stolen bases. Just huge to get those. You
figure he sits one of the Tuesday games for sure, then probably plays Wednesday. You got to hope he starts Monday or Thursday, and you get 3 games. But, yeah, it's tough. I'm the same with Carroll. I think he might I'm not sure if he's going to be a starter or not this week.
Nope. It's tricky.
Jeff, someone asked in the chat, pick 2 second basemen, Max Muncy, Gleyber Torres, Gene Segura. I'm going to go Muncy. Oh, that's tough. I'm going to go Muncy and Segura, although it really depends on what categories you need, but I'm going to go Muncy and Segura. How about you?
Muncy for sure, because, the 8 games. And he's caught fire.
Yeah.
Shortstop-wise, then hottest hitter in baseball, Elvis Andrews. If you've already,
I'm playing Wander Franco and Jeremy Payne out of that list.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm not gonna follow the Elvis Andrews hot streak. I think you've missed the boat on that one, to be honest.
You're probably right.
Although I probably would have said that a week ago, and I would have missed a 340 week with a couple stolen bases. So, but I'm gonna go Wander Franco, hit in the middle of that lineup. Had a pretty good week this week, and I'm gonna go Jeremy Payne. Hits second a lot for the Astros. I just like how many counting stats he can fall into. Does have 18 home runs. It depends what you need. Like O'Neal Cruz can give you some power, but the batting average can be really ugly. But give me Franco and Payne in a vacuum.
Yeah. And the thing is, Payne has kind of slowed down a little bit.
He has. The first half was a lot better than the second half, but I just like him hitting second. I like that he steals a little bit, hits for some pops, scores some runs. Yeah, I mean, you could argue for probably any of those guys, but that's who I'm going with.
Yep. Andrews faces 3 home games against the Guardians, 3 against the Tigers. So some good, some bad. The Guardians, Savali, McKenzie, Bieber. That's maybe a tough ask. So
that's a tough ask right there, especially the McKenzie and the Bieber ones. Although I'm sure the Detroit ones, he gets Erod in there, so it's a little bit tough because it's a lefty. But then Hutchinson and Tyler Alexander, you got to figure the White Sox will score some runs over the weekend.
Yeah, I kind of like that actually.
Yeah. Let's see. So we mentioned the 8 gamers. There's a lot of games this week, Jeff. There's 12 other teams with 7 games, no teams with 5 games. This is a week where you can really. It's probably the last week we can kind of count on your guys playing too. I've noticed a little bit with some, I noticed the Astros sat everybody at least once or twice this week. Yep. You're starting to see some of these teams who have nothing to play for, have clinched divisions. You're starting to see them sit a little bit. I think this is the last week we're going to get full games this week. We get 7 games for a lot of teams. I think next Monday, the last 10 days, we really just see a lot of guys sitting and starters starting to get scratched. And these are if you want to gain ground or keep people at bay and kind of add to your buffer, I think this is the week to do it.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's nuts. The Dodgers already are at 101 wins.
Dude, this team is unbelievable. I know we talk about a lot how good they are, but you look at the Cardinals, pretty good team, 26 games over 500. The run differential is plus 129. The Dodgers are 200 runs better than that.
That's amazing.
Plus 329. They've given up 456 runs on the season. There's nobody else in the National League has given up less than 549. The Mets. They have 100 runs. I'm going to round off to 100. They have 100 less runs than anybody else in the National League.
Yeah, and yet, they're vulnerable still. I mean, they could lose in the second round of the playoffs.
They can lose in I guess they're going to have a bye in the first round. But
yeah,
do you think they're vulnerable for any particular, or just the fact that anybody's vulnerable in a baseball series?
Well, let's face it. They're going to either face. I think they're going to either face the Braves or because I think they'll either face the Braves or the Mets in their first round, right?
So they get the win, the 4-5. So yeah, they get. Oh, you're right. They could. So we could get like a 110 win team against like a 102 win team or something like that just for the first round. In the second round, that'd be brutal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking either the Braves or the Mets will be the 4 seed, and I think they'll be a pretty hefty favorite over either the Phillies or the Padres. Although stranger things have happened.
Yeah, but you're right. But 3 home games for whoever's the 4 seed too. I mean, yeah, either teams will be locked in as the 4 seed. You're right. That second round, it's gonna be interesting because it'll be the Mets or the Braves against the Cardinals or probably the Padres, and the Dodgers against the loser of the NL East. That's a tough first round. You're right, especially if it's the Mets and you get friggin' DeGrom and Scherzer in there. Like that's nasty.
I mean, the only thing that they've got going for them is that the Mets are going to have to get through somebody
for sure.
Or the Braves are going to have to get through somebody. One of the two is going to get the bye because where the Cardinals are, I mean, they're
like 4 games back of those teams.
Yeah. So it's going to, so they're going to almost certainly be the 3 seed.
Yeah.
Which means that they're going to be the ones playing either the Padres or the Phillies.
Yeah. Suddenly the 3 seed looks kind of good.
Yeah. Brewers are still 2 out of the wild card, by the way. So they're 8 out of the NL Central, but
they're closer than I thought they were. The interesting one is in the American League. If you're the wild card, you either want to be the 4 seed or the 6 seed. You do not want to be the 5 seed, is what I figured out.
Okay.
Because if you're the 6 seed, you get to play the Central.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're the 4 seed, at least you have 3 home games in the wild card round.
Yeah.
If you're the 5 seed, you got to play not the Central, and you have to have 3 road games. Like you're better off being the 6 and the 5 for sure.
Yeah. So currently the Mariners are the 6, the Rays are the 5, the Blue Jays are the 4.
Yeah, but I mean, you agree, right? You'd rather play one of those teams than you'd rather play the winner of the Central. You play one of those teams, right?
Yeah, but you got to play somebody good eventually too.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna you have to win to go on, but it's just an interesting little development there that 6 might be better than 5. Got a question in the chat before we get into FAAB. A question from Anthony G. Do you guys still pick up people now in leagues when you're out of it?
Yeah, I do. Because I think it's to the integrity of the league to try hard until the very end. I don't want to give up in accounting, let somebody pass me in accounting stats category because I have a dead guy in there.
And I
don't think I owe it to them to let them just have the pick of the litter free agent wise. I think they have to compete for it.
I agree. And if you don't have the time, I get it. But the least you could do is you got to set your lineup. You can't have dead spots in there. There's nothing worse than looking up and someone's got 3 injured guys in his lineup. But I do too. I've got my $1,000 of FAAB. I'm always trying. I'm stubborn. I'm obviously stupidly competitive. I'm always trying to finish as high as I can. And if I get hot for 2.5 weeks, if I move from 4th to 3rd and 400th overall to 300th overall, that matters a little bit to me. I realize it doesn't in the money, but I still like to finish as high as I can. And if someone has a problem with me picking guys up, I mean, they should have saved some money and FAAB themselves. I'm not intentionally blocking anybody. I would never look at the first place team like, oh, he has $12. I'm going to bid 13 on purpose. I'm not going to that level of it, but I'm certainly bidding to try and make my team as best as I can. But
I'm not only looking to improve my team.
I'm not. If I know the team in second needs saves, I'm not going to go pick up 3 closers on purpose just to block them. I wouldn't do anything out of the norm, but I'm certainly doing whatever's best for my team.
That's how I approach it.
Yeah. And I have no problem with people that do. I know people have issues with people in last place who bid $600 last week. I sometimes get frustrated if someone doesn't bid for 4 months and then bids, but they still have their money.
Especially if say maybe a competitor said, "Hey, what are you doing holding all that money in FAAB?"
Right.
Don't prod them. Don't tap the glass.
Yeah. But I'm sure glass tapping happens. I don't know how often. I've never done it myself. I would never even think to do it, but I'm sure someone would be like, "Hey, you may want to wake up and spend your money." I don't know. That'd be interesting. But yeah, I'm all about managing your team to the very end.
Yeah, I am too.
Some good offensive schedules this week, Jeff. We've got an all-home Rockies week, so that always means something. Although maybe it means something to the other teams, and that's just the Rockies. But the Rockies have 7 games this week: 4 against the Giants, 3 against San Diego, which means the Giants have a really good schedule. They have 4 at Coors and 3 at Arizona. The Giants get 6 righties out of 7 games, which is really important because the Giants tend to platoon a ton.
They do when healthy, when they can.
True.
I mean, that's been one of the stories this year is that they've had guys that, a lot of their mainstays like Belt, has missed so much time this year. Longoria has been in and out, and, just a lot of their a lot of their pieces haven't worked. It's just, plus their bullpens and defense is just atrocious this year.
Yeah. But if you're looking to, some sneaky pickups, Lamont Wade played again, and he missed a couple games they played, and I almost had a walk-off grand slam, by the way. He just fouled off, it was off Andre Jackson, I believe. Mike Yastrzemski, who has been a pretty much a disaster this year, but he's going to play a lot this week as a lefty. Jock Peterson should play a lot as a lefty this week. Luis Gonzalez also in the outfield. Obviously, if you need a middle infielder, Brandon Crawford will play a bunch. It's funny when you look at this lineup. This team was so amazingly good last year. You look at this lineup, and they don't even look close to remotely a good team anymore. No,
they don't. And although, ask the Phillies, they're still not a walkover either, though. That's the funny thing that's kind of tricky about them is every once in a while they'll rise up.
Yeah, and they do throw 3 really good starters out there: Rodon, Webb, and Alex Cobb, who's just his comeback. They're all really good starters when they pitch.
Yeah, so Fred has been all over Alex Cobb. one of the unluckiest pitchers in baseball, and that has come back home. That he's been able to, he's been able to right the ratios a little bit there, because all the FIP ratios, all the advanced metrics suggested that Cobb was exceedingly unlucky.
He's gotten pretty close to getting it back. I think he's at 3.48 now, so he's still not quite where the FIP and the xERA is, but he's brought it way down over the last 6 weeks or so.
He'll be a fun one to kind of see if you can get on the cheap early in draft season next year before the cacophony of everybody talking about, oh, he was super unlucky. Let's bid him up, or let's push him up. And before the main event, starting pitcher inflation kicks in too.
I was going to say, by the time everybody kind of does their research, I think any discount will be long gone. But you're right. Maybe in November, December, people just looking up at ERA. But the fact he's got it down under 3.5 probably makes it so that's probably not there anymore. Cacophony, good word for 10:30 tonight, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that was wise right there. We mentioned the Dodgers with 8 games, all home games. 5 against Arizona, 3 against St. Louis. Dodgers rake at home. I think if you have any Dodgers to pick up, this is a good week to do so. I did see some Gavin Lux out there coming off the IL. Trace Thompson, I think, is an interesting pickup. I think he probably should play, I don't know, 5 games this week. Maybe pinch hitting a couple too. He's actually been really pretty good for them. I've enjoyed as a Warriors fan. I've really enjoyed seeing it because obviously in the family there. But he's actually been really valuable for the Dodgers down the stretch here as kind of a fill-in 4th outfielder, pinch hitter kind of guy.
Yeah, and I like him for the weekend when he gets 2 out of 3 lefties against the Cardinals. So Quintana and Montgomery.
That's definitely a good call. A good call too. Handedness is really important here down the stretch because a lot of teams are platooning. Got a couple extra guys in the lineup. Checking out some of the young guys. Getting guys in the lineup is obviously really important. We mentioned the Giants' schedule. The Mariners have a good schedule this week too. We mentioned the game against the Angels tomorrow. Then 3 against Oakland. We know that there's no good pitchers taking the hill there. And then three against Kansas City. As long as you miss Brady Singer, you're probably all right. Although they do face him Friday night. Then they get Bubic and Zach Greinke over the weekend. So that's a really good week. If the Mariners can just score some runs, is the week to do it.
Yeah, I thought about picking up Greinke because of the 2 starts, and I just couldn't do it.
You want to know? You know what was funny about that one? Is I was trying to be sneaky. I picked him up last week. I'm going to get him cheap for $1. Maybe I'll throw him for the 2 starts. I dropped him before this week.
That's too funny.
I looked and I didn't play him last week. I just sat him. I'm like, maybe I need the strikeouts. Then I looked and he gets like 2 strikeouts a game.
Right.
Like I could throw
strikeouts?
I could throw James Karinchak in there and get more strikeouts just as a middle reliever. So
absolutely.
I kind of punted out of it. It cost me $1 and maybe I figured if I needed it or there was nobody else to pick up, I'd do it. But I just couldn't stomach it. It's just too much of a risk with the ratios with no strikeout upside.
No one in your league can get a 2-step out of Zach Greinke to beat you.
Exactly
this week.
right. I eliminated that.
This is galaxy brain stuff right there.
I mean, that's just playing 3D chess right there, trying to keep him out of the player pool. So it's really what I'm doing. The Cubs, for teams with 6 games, have a really nice schedule this week. If you got any Cubs players you want to pick them up, they have 7 games this week: 3 against Miami, 4 against Pittsburgh. They miss Alcantara too, so that lines up about as well as possible for 7 games right there.
And this is why Wade Wiley was going like hotcakes in some of my leagues because he gets a 2-stepper there.
We had a $20 bid on Wade Miley in my league. I didn't know anybody had $20 left. I was hoping to get him. I put $6 in him. I thought that was a really strong bid, and I was smoked out of the water.
Yeah, 2.89 ERA on the year. I would have lost a significant size bar bet on his ERA. I mean, he's only made 6 starts, but I seem to recall him getting rocked in a particular game. And yet here we are with a 289.
I don't think I looked at the only reason I know is because I looked at him this afternoon because I was bidding on him. I don't think he's been rocked at all.
Well, first game was only 3 innings and he allowed 3 runs to the Padres. And he allowed 10 base runners in 3 innings. So yeah, that qualifies as rocked, but is also May
10th. Yeah.
May 10th. And it's still only 3 runs. So at the end of the day, it didn't kill you. It just
11 strikeouts the last 2 starts, gets Miami and Pittsburgh. He's definitely someone that I wanted to get win opportunity and strikeout opportunity. I need both of those in the Vegas main pretty badly. But I was not the high bid on that one. It was he went for more money than I have.
Yeah. Miami might be the best team to stream against right now. They're just hideous offensively.
Yeah, they're bad. Kansas City's bad too, although they scored a couple runs the other, I think it was Saturday night. But
I streamed Rich Hill on Yahoo Friends and Family because I'm low on moves, so I've been trying to stream more pitchers, and that didn't work out so well.
And they had gotten smoked 3 in a row too. They lost to they got smoked by all the Twins, like Bundy, Joe Ryan, and Sonny Gray all smoked him, and then they just crushed Rich Hill.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I've done that a few times with friends and family too. I just can't seem to get out of my way there. I've been stuck in 4th and just kind of can't move out of it.
Isaac asked you, and I'm going to throw this one at you because you keep on sneaking and throwing them at me. I'm going to make you to answer this one. Would you rather have Miley or Edward Cabrera tomorrow?
I was going to say which Cabrera is that, but that's Edward. I'm going to go Edward Cabrera.
Yeah, I would too. A lot more strikeouts, I think.
Yeah, and
he gets Washington with his other start too, so that's a pretty good start.
That's a great 2-step right there too.
And the Marlins have this weird hold over the Nationals too.
Yeah, they do. Although a lot of teams have a hold over the Nationals, I suppose, right now. But the Marlins are bad. But yeah, give me ECAB there. I don't fully trust. I know that Miley was the prize this week, but it was a fact that there weren't many prizes to have. And he has 2 starts. But yeah, I'll go Cabrera. I just think it's a better pitcher. Speaking of Miami, you mentioned that they get 3 Chicago, 3 against the Nationals. It's a pretty good setup too for some offense.
Yeah, except they can't hit. So
yeah, there's that. Let's jump into FAAB. There weren't a ton of names this week, but there's enough names that maybe can help you out there. But first, from our sponsors, it's So Rare. So Rare is MLB is an NFT-based free-to-play baseball game played with officially licensed Major League Baseball cards. Sign up today at sorare.com/MLB and you'll receive 13 common cards to start your selection. Build 7-player lineups for cards in your collection and play weekly competitions with scoring based on real-life player performance. Compete for rewards with other fans around the world. For more information on gameplay and to sign up, visit sorare.com/MLB. There's no better time to join So Rare than ahead of our postseason gameplay. Ooh, postseason with So Rare. That'll be fun too. Jeff, let's go pitching first in FAAB. I felt like this is a week that people are trying to grab some pitching. You're trying to find guys to start. My question for you before that, did you guys think about starting to grab any sort of like middle relievers or look a couple weeks ahead yet? Because we have that final half week. Are you starting to think about that yet, or maybe that'll be next week?
Next week for me on that. I think too many things can change.
Yeah, I think next week I will, though. I think next week I'll look at the whole 10 days and I'll kind of try and map it out and try and make sure that with there's so little money left in FAAB. I'll leave a few bucks left for that last half week, but I probably want to spend most of my money next week. Maybe I had like 10, 11 bucks. I'll probably spend $7 or $8 next week and save for a couple. I was going to ask you, do you know how if the Mets and Braves tie, there's no playoff, right? Because they're both in
Correct.
the playoffs as it is.
Correct. There are no playoffs this year.
The only way we could get, what if we get a tie for the third wild card, we must, right?
I think there are tiebreakers in place.
Okay. So there can't be a game.
I'll tell you what they are.
Okay. That was my thought, because I knew if both teams are in the playoffs, they don't do an extra game, but I wasn't sure if like Phillies and Brewers tied for the 3 seed, what happened there. All
right. I'm pulling it up. Games will no longer be used to resolve ties. That means no more games 163. Instead, ties will be broken by math. Specific outcomes from the regular season determining final standing or seeding. So that's just so they can start on time because they started late because they locked the players out.
Right. I do remember that, Jeff.
Yes, I do remember that too.
A long time ago, though, but I do remember it.
Yes. So head-to-head record's the first tiebreaker. Second is intra-division record, then inter-division record, then last half of intra-league games, then last half of intra-league games +1.
I ran my school's intramural all the events. I never figured out if it was intramural or intermural. I probably should have known that before I took over the whole thing.
Yeah, probably.
It's intramural though, correct?
Yes, intramural.
I forget if
if you were playing intermural, you'd be playing other schools' intramural teams.
All right, I got you. All right. Well, that's good. I feel like I learned something. But starting pitcher, I think you're right. It's intramural. I don't remember if I messed it up on the t-shirts for all the teams that won or not, but I probably did. Knowing me, I probably messed it up.
And nobody cared.
Nobody cared. It was a free t-shirt. Nobody cared.
Yes.
Starting pitchers. We talked about Wade Miley. Anybody else that you're looking at? Aaron Savali is coming back, gets 2 starts this week. I added him in one league. I'm not really excited about it. I'm worried how deep he goes, but at this point, I'm looking for strikeouts. I'm looking for multiple starts, and he was kind of the next step up after Wade Miley.
Yeah, for sure. I could see it there. We had in one of our 2 lanes, Hunter Green was available.
Oh, in Maine, I had available online. I assume he went for
5, and we bid 3. We only had 7 left, so
you couldn't really do much about it. But
we had Kyle Bradish on our list. We had Aaron Savali on our list. We got outbid on those, tied on Aaron Savali, 2-2, which means we lost. Instead, we won Domingo Acevedo, and I thought we weren't going to chase saves because we're kind of trying to purge crappy relievers or frustrating relievers.
Now you're chasing A's saves, so what can go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? But getting Ian Kennedy off our roster is still a win, and getting Jimmy Herget off our roster. Nothing against Mr. Jimmy Herget, but I hate the Angels. Cannot stand the Angels. Screw those guys. I'm sick and tired of seeing Herget in the 6th inning.
I think Phil Nevin is literally just picking stuff out of a deck or trying to figure out who he has. There's no. I get high leverage and stuff. There's no rhyme or reason to Phil Nevin right now.
No. They had Aaron Loop getting a save on Saturday. That was the final straw there. But weird thing in that league is all of a sudden I have like 5 guys I want to cut, and we only had $7 a FAAB to bid.
Yeah.
So the math doesn't really compute. I want to have a couple of spots still to bid the next couple of weeks too. So
yeah, I didn't see myself cutting Tony Gonzalez and Frankie Montas 3 weeks ago. Let's just put it that way.
Did you pull the pull the plug on Montas?
I did.
Yeah.
I mean, having an MRI on his shoulder, and if he had been great, maybe I'd be like, yeah, let's see the MRI. He's been horrible. Like I'm not going to throw him this week. And if I don't throw him this week, then we got maybe one start left. And I don't know if the Yankees want to throw him. It's a mess. They're bringing Domingo Germán back out from the bullpen to pitch in his start this week. I don't know. It can't be good. And when his next start probably won't be 5 innings anyway. Like I just didn't see a path where I was going to be like, oh, I really want to throw this start.
Yeah, but Dan, did you see that catch that Harrison Bader? Oh wait, no, he didn't make any catches because he's still hurt.
Hey, Harrison Bader back on Tuesday.
Yeah. So hey, and he's going to just shut up all the haters here after that. I think one of the biggest stories is that the Yankees didn't get Luis Castillo. They settled for Montas. And
I mean, he had shoulder issues a month prior. It's not like this is out of nowhere either. It's like,
so did Castillo, by the way.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
He had but it was a shorter sojourn for Castillo, and he came back dominant, whereas Montas came back okay.
Yeah, I think Montas made one good start since the trade. He had that one start against Tampa where he was really good for 5 innings.
Yeah, and another credible one against the Mets. That was okay.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned the A's and Acevedo. I was looking to pick up, I forget who, I think it was Seth Brown. So I wonder who the A's face this weekend coming up. They face this weekend Chris Bassett, Jacob deGrom, and Max Scherzer. That's going to be a fun time.
We're going to get a whole lot of save chances there.
Right? I actually picked up Acevedo in one of my main events too, and I haven't decided if I'm going to start him or not yet. Because they play Seattle and then
there's more. Castillo, Ray, and Kirby also. Nice week.
The A's may not score this week.
I'm instantly regretting now this.
I think when I look, I don't decide until Monday, but as I looked at it earlier today, I think I'm going to go Brandon Hughes with the Cubs and their 7-game schedule over Acevedo for saves.
Yeah, well, we didn't cut. I have still guys that I could have cut Tony Gonzalez, but we just didn't get to it. Sir Anthony Dominguez is cuttable.
That was a rough outing the other night.
And it just guarantees that he's not going to get the next save chance too. That's the thing that's really frustrating.
Did you guys have Bailey Ober available in any main events or any onlines? Because he jumped back off the IL with a really nice start, 5 innings. I think no earned runs and 5 strikeouts. Looked pretty good.
Let's see. Was he available? I think he was picked up the previous week in Vegas, Maine. And then he was not picked. And then in online, this is just fascinating for people to listen to me. Look this up. But he was picked up last week also in online Maine. Very smart people looking ahead at a time. Maybe they're smart.
I'm pretty sure he was held in my Vegas main because I don't see him being picked up in any of them, which is or dropped. So obviously he was drafted, but he is back. Any Nate Eovaldi action? He came back and he had a rehab start, or he had a rehab like a simulated game. I'm trying to say today. It sounds like I saw conflicting reports. I saw one report say he's going to try and pitch against the Yankees. I saw another report say he's going to go for a rehab start. There was enough conflict in there that I decided to punt out of it, and it looks like they're not going to throw him this weekend. So I'm glad I didn't pick him up.
With 2.5 weeks left, not being able to use a guy this week, why bother? I mean,
when I thought I could use him this week, it was one thing. When I saw it was a report from Ian Brown, who's one of their beat writers, said that he thought he was going to have one rehab start and then come back the next week. And I deleted him. I hit the little trash can in all my bids right there.
Yep.
Let's see other names. Any interest in Josh Winder, Adrian Sampson? We talked about Zach Greinke for 2. I found it hard to really find names, but I thought Adrian Sampson, because they're at Miami, it is a start for the Cubs. I thought he was at least an interesting name.
Yeah, I think he was on my list in one league, but it wasn't a main. It was somewhere else. That not very helpful. I know they say that, but
and on the same note, Drew Smiley gets the Marlins too. He wasn't available in the leagues, but he's been pitching really well lately.
He's been pitching very well.
Yeah. So, if he is available, I definitely would have grabbed him. Did you guys consider Luis Severino? Last rehab start was 4 1/3 on Wednesday last week. He's going to pitch this week for the Yankees Wednesday against Pittsburgh. It looks like that's a pretty nice first start back.
It is. It is. I didn't see him available anywhere. That was my problem.
Yeah, mine was too. I actually dropped him when he first got hurt, and he went in the 60-day IL, so I dropped him pretty quick. But someone had made the move before I could. You mentioned relievers. You mentioned Domingo Acevedo. I joked earlier that I liked him at the start of the year. He finally got his first 2 saves this week. I think he appears to be the guy right now. I mean, it's the guy for the A's, and we've got 2.5 weeks left. But he was kind of the top guy that I saw as pick upable for some saves. Obviously, we mentioned the A's schedule this week's pretty tough, but it seems like he's going to get the 9th inning at least the next couple times.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be when they're trailing by 4, and then he's going to give up a couple of crappy runs because of that.
It's very, very, very possible.
Because I'll have him active.
Yeah,
for sure.
Very possible there. If you're in a 12-teamer, I do like Jose Leclerc right now. He was only 36% rostered in the NFBC, the RotoWire NFBC 12-team championship. I think I got the name right, but he seems like he is the guy for the Rangers right now. They seem to be leading to him in the 9th each time.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Rangers somehow found a way to have Joe Barlow go on a 47-day rehab assignment
right
for a blister.
I remember we thought he was coming back like each of the last 3 weeks, and I think I just finally gave up on him.
Yep.
David Bednar is kind of an interesting name if you're looking to maybe get a little sneaky here down the stretch. He's making his final rehab assignment on Monday and then joining the Pirates after that. He's someone that if he pitches, he's really good at least. Who knows if the Pirates get any wins or save opportunities, but Bednar is a pretty solid pitcher if he does pitch.
He does. He is. I like how the Pirates swept the Reds and then lost the next 4, which is about right. But they had like 3 different guys get saves this week, and all that did was make me pump the brakes on those guys because I knew Bednar was coming back. I couldn't bank on any single one of them to get a save.
That Reds 9-game week was a gigantic and a massive bust.
Oh, total. And usually they are, right?
Yeah. When you're like, I'm gonna 2 weeks ahead of time, ready for the 5-game week. Like they scored more than 4 runs once, I believe.
Yeah.
And that was 5.
Jake Fraley sat like 4 times.
Jose Barrera is going to get 40 at bats this week.
Yeah, well, that's great. Good luck with that one.
I made a joke on Twitter at the start of the week about like a joke in the Reds going to get shut out 4 times this week, and our friend Brian Slack kept giving me bad gifs and emojis every time the Reds had no runs through 6. So I was not on his good list for this week. But they had the doubleheader Saturday. They scored 1 run in 2 games.
Yeah, but yeah.
Is that right? Yeah, they lost 5-1 and 1-0. Like it's they scored 4 runs over the weekend. It's not great.
Yeah, we're excited about Nick Lodolo and Hunter Green. Just don't talk about our hitters.
Yeah, that is kind of the way it goes there.
Batting 3rd, Kyle Farmer.
Who's actually been fairly. You know who was good? Who was pretty good this week was Aquino was pretty good. The Punisher hit a couple bombs, so he's like the one guy that kind of worked out if you picked him up for the 9-gamer. I added him in one spot and then dropped him this week, but he was one that actually paid off. But it's kind of the only one.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, it was not great. Let's jump into some hitters fab. But first, an aid from our sponsors, the Blue Wire Network. We thank you for indulging us there. Thanks to Blue Wire for being involved in partnership in the podcast all year long. Jeff, what'd you guys do with hitters? I found that there's some interesting names in the outfield, but nothing that was a slam dunk. But I liked in the outfield, I liked Edward Olivares, our old friend, got called back up. They sent Nick Prado down now that Olivares is healthy. Started the first 2 games. He's someone that has some speed power combo. I liked Oswaldo Cabrera in New York. He played all 5 games a week. He had 3 hits today. I really like his swing, so I'm a little biased. I really like watching him play, but I think he's someone that could be interesting on the stretch. He was really good in the minors, in 2021. We talked about him a couple weeks ago when he got called up, and the playing time kind of went away, and I feel like it's back right now. I feel like Peraza is not playing, but Cabrera is playing. I mean, he was someone that's 24-20 in Double-A in 2021, so we're only looking for 2.5 weeks of someone being hot, so he was someone that I was going after. And then also in the outfield, Jonathan Daza with the Rockies full week. So what were you guys looking at kind of hitting outfield wise or whatever it may be?
So Vegas, Maine, I am back in the Edward Olivares business.
I like it.
And Jonathan Daza, both. We got them both this week. Olivares and dropped Gamble. Daza dropped Michael Chavis, who we keep on finding reasons not to play. So why keep him? And
Daza is very much a category guy. Like he's going to hit no home runs. He doesn't run, but good batting average, 7 games in cores. Like if you need the right things, if you need like batting average and runs, he can work out nicely. In my Vegas mainly, I am 1,000 ahead in home runs and RBIs. Aaron Judge is just literally carries teams to ridiculous extent, but I need batting average. I need some steals and I need some runs. And I just maybe not need runs, but I need batting average. And Dawes is a guy that could hit 330 for a week in cores, and that could be big.
Yep. I also found myself in the Spencer Torkelson business again.
Going back there, you think this finally the third time? Is this now is the charm?
I think he looks a little better.
Actually, saw a couple of bats where I thought he looked like a different guy than he did in April.
Yeah, and we picked him up in online Maine, and I also got him in Scarf, which is part of the Earth series of leagues.
He was 1 for his last 17 coming in today, though.
Is he really?
2 for his last 21 after today.
Somehow, like before that, he did.
I thought so too. That he had some good at bats. I thought he had something. I didn't think he was quite as cold as he's been. He had a 6-game hitting streak right before that cold streak. The key for me is he's hitting 5th every day. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Give me that for a guy who obviously has a ton of tools and definitely if he gets hot for 2 weeks, could hit a bunch of hit 3 or 4 home runs for you down the stretch.
Right. And he's not striking out as much. I mean, that is like the faintest of faint praise, but it also happens to be true. In that stretch, 8 strikeouts and 49 plate appearances. That's better. It's not great, but it's better.
Someone that you liked, I think, earlier in the year, maybe Mickey Moniak, who came from Philly to LA.
Oh, I like making puns about his name.
Oh, that's why you like him. All right. Well, I knew there was something that you liked about him.
Well, and he's playing every day.
That's the thing. He let off a couple times. I think you texted me about this, but for some reason, the Angels are running David Fletcher out there, even though he can't do anything. It's very strange.
They finally put him on the IL.
That's good.
So after the game last night, he couldn't swing. Just couldn't swing. The Tigers were playing little league bunt defense against him. Like 2 days in a row, all he was doing is bunting. Why on God's green earth are they playing him? I mean, there is zero reason to play him and have him play through that. Okay, you couldn't find something before, but it hurts. He can't swing. Get him out of there. Yeah, I mean, he was batting leadoff.
It was so strange, but
it was unbelievable.
I think Moniak you're gonna hit lead off a bunch, and if you hit Trout's on fire, Ohtani's obviously awesome. You can get on base, you can score some runs there. Moniak's a guy that hit 15 home runs in AAA last year, a little bit of pop, a little bit of speed. Kind of one of those, could be a last couple of weeks hero, and I like the playing time right now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was a perfectly reasonable decision by the Angels to acquire him. Yeah, just let him play, see if he's got anything. Don't let David, don't let David Fletcher stand in the way of him. But anyways, Moniak, although he's still sitting against lefties. Honestly, let him face lefties too. Just he's not going to get better against him if you protect him from him. I mean, Moniak strikes out a ton. 3 walks, 33 Ks. Obviously he's a huge batting average hole. Right, he's a risk, but nonetheless, I mean, you just acquired him. Just play him. You have one asset right now, and that is playing time to meet out. Use it wisely.
Brandon Marsha, 770 OPS in Philadelphia after a 630 OPS in Anaheim. It seems like the work with Bryce Harper on his swing might actually be making a difference. It's pretty. He's been pretty decent.
Yeah, it's also a small sample. And
he's got 26 strikeouts and 2 walks too.
Yeah, so there's that.
But he does look a little better. But looks like he's hitting some more pop. Someone in the chat just asked about Jose Suarez for the 2-step. If he's available, I would definitely start that. He's not been available for me for a while, but if you have Jose Suarez available, I would definitely throw that out there. He's been pretty solid.
Yeah, Angels pitching has not really been their big problem. It's just that they're not scoring a lot of runs, and they just strike out a ton. But about Suarez, and I'm doing a very selective endpoint. July 26th, since July 26th, which is the first start after the All-Star break. In that span, 2.14 ERA, 0.99 WHIP, and 46 innings. So pretty good.
I was looking too. Like he hadn't get more than 3 runs of start since July 16th. So I mean, that's since the All-Star break, every start's been pretty usable, which is I'll take that anytime. And even the bad starts, quote unquote bad starts, have been 3 earned runs. And last one against Cleveland wasn't good because he had 9 hits, but for the most part, he's been very solid.
Yep, not a huge strikeout upside. The most strikeouts he's had in any start is 8. Yeah, but I think he did that in 7 innings.
Yeah, the 2 starts obviously is big there because maybe you can get 9 or 10 that way. But I think you're looking for maybe 10, 11 strikeouts, and maybe a win or two and some good ratios. And that's really good at this point of the season for sure.
Yep.
You guys looking at Rodolfo Castro at all in Pittsburgh? Dude's been hitting some bombs.
Yeah, he did against Cincinnati.
That's true. He strikes out a ton too.
Yeah, I mean, I did look at him, and then I moved on.
Second, third, and short eligibility. Hitting third, which is I think is probably the whole key thing. Is hitting hitting third almost every day. He had 3 hits yesterday and a home run. Had a home, 3 home runs the last like 8 or 10 days. But been pretty solid. We mentioned Trace Thompson. What about we talked about the Dodgers? What about old Dodgers? Zach McKinstry leading off some for the Cubs.
Yeah, because Madrigal's hurt again.
Madrigal's not good, by the way, either.
I know that. You know
I am
that.
not
American people know
guy.
that.
People seem to like somehow hang on to that name because he was at once a prospect, but he's just not good.
I've never rostered him.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. If I did, maybe it was like I picked him up, like I need batting average, and I dropped him a week later. But I don't know. It's just there's no hard contact at all. It's hard to get behind that.
Yeah, the poor man Stephen Kwan skill set is not that profitable one.
Stephen Kwan plays good outfield too, though.
I understand that.
Yeah, he plays well out there. But anybody else offensive wise? The Marlins called up Jordan Groshans. Any love there?
He wasn't really hitting for power in the minors. So, although when I last checked, with the caveat that I haven't been really tracking him.
Your last check was fair because he has 3 home runs overall in the minors so far this year.
Yeah, and playing in AAA, it's just AAA is supposed to be able to hit for power, and he's not.
I saw some people excited about his call-up, and then I went and looked, and he has 3 home runs and 3 steals in 198 minor league games here, and I quickly moved on because it's just hard to see that transferring to the majors.
Well, at least all their success in developing all their other young. Oh, never mind.
Hey, Christian Yelich is good.
Yeah, I'm talking current vintage. I mean, Jesus Sanchez says hello from AAA.
And they don't play Luendia. The Marlins are a strange team. My favorite stat is I was doing some FAAB work today, Jeff. I was looking at like last 30 days, just kind of looking at guys. Albert Pujols in the last 30 days has 9 home runs. Really been good. He has 10 runs scored.
Yeah. Well,
it was an amazing stat. I was like, that's incredible.
Yeah. He has one job and he does it well.
He's got to get 2 more too. We really want to see him get. I'd like to see him get 700. I think they're going to give him every opportunity. I imagine.
Oh, for sure. You got an 8-game lead. They can afford that too.
We mentioned the Rockies have 7 games. We mentioned Jonathan Daza. Michael Taglio was dropped in some leagues. He was 24% rostered in 12-teamers. Alan Trejo's been playing shortstop for them a bunch with Jose Iglesias out. Any love for either of those guys? I think Taglio is a little interesting. Just got a little bit of pop.
Yeah, a little bit.
And 7 games in Coors always works pretty nicely.
Yeah, for sure.
He had 30 home runs in the minors. So I think that if he was available, I think that's a name that I would definitely grab if he can still make moves there. Real quick, let's get into some news and notes before we jump out of here. The biggest news over the weekend was Ozzie Albie's come back for I think it was in the middle of the second game. Came back on Friday, fractured his right pinky. He's out for the rest of the regular season. They think he's out 3 weeks. So maybe if they get, maybe past the first round of the playoffs, he can come back. But for our purposes, he's cooked.
Yeah, it's really sad. I was reading that, Acuna's performance seemed to, be, kind of track when Albies is around. So because they are tight, there is probably something to that. Acuna had himself a nice little weekend, actually.
The game yesterday was awesome. I think they had 4 runs on Nola, and he drove in all 4.
Yeah. Yep. But other than that, I mean, it means Vaughn Grissom doesn't have to learn a new position yet.
Yeah.
I think the Braves are going to be in an interesting spot. Like Albies is not going to get that many rehab games, or if any. So how do they get him up to speed in time for the playoffs, especially if Grissom's still hitting well? What do you do?
I start Grissom to answer that question.
Yeah.
So I got a Braves question for you while we're here. What is Spencer Strider's ADP in main event drafts next year? Because this dude is unbelievable.
Strikeout machine.
I mean, it's crazy. He's got 131 innings right now, and he got over 200 strikeouts today.
Is that good?
202 strikeout. I mean, what a nutty year. I mean, he was like, at the start of the year, it's like, well, maybe he's going to be in the bullpen. Maybe he's going to be in the rotation. We don't know. Right. Now he's got a 38% strikeout rate over 130 innings. Like, it's crazy how good he is.
They did that little pump fake too, where he's going into the rotation. Never mind about that. Okay, now he's in and go. Big whiff there. I mean, I have him actually in like a keeper league, which is not a whiff. That was great. But like in the FBC, I didn't pick him up in any of my NFBC leagues. That would make my life a lot easier right now. I'm sorry, I'm delaying my answer here. I think he goes in the third round next year.
I think if you wait till the third round, you probably don't get him.
You might be right about that.
And I don't know if I'll do it, but I think he probably is like a 2-3 turn kind of guy.
Yeah.
But it is. I mean, I guess it's the innings, and he only threw 130 innings this year.
And he's going to be pitching in the playoffs. He's going to be one of the 3 starters.
Right. So you go 130, you got 2 more starts. Let's give him 142, a couple starts. Yeah, he can hit $160 by the time the playoffs are done, and that's interesting because he only threw about 77, 78 last year, somewhere in there. Maybe a little more than that, like 80, like 90 innings last year. So it's definitely a big jump up, and I'm not sure how much they're going to push him and how much they ride him next year. It'll be interesting because the dude's awesome.
I use Strider ahead of Kyle Wright or Charlie Morton in game 2 from the Braves.
Like I don't even think about that. I
think Fried's 1.
Fried 1, Strider 2, Morton 3, Wright 4 for me.
I think that sounds about right.
Yeah. And Kyle Wright's been awesome for me, and I love him. Little bit bumpy lately, and I think I like the veteran playoff presence of Morton and what he brings in game 3, and then give me Wright in game 4. I'll come back with Fried in game 5.
And Wright's accumulated a lot of innings now too, 164.
Yeah, and it's been really good, but you can see a little bit of the sharpness going with the strikeouts have been down lately. I'd be a little bit worried about that one. I mean, as your 4 in a playoff series, that's really damn good, but I'd be a little concerned about him down the stretch here.
Yep, me too.
Let's see. Julio Rodriguez, Mitch, both games this weekend with lower back tightness. That's one to definitely check. They don't play tomorrow. They play the A's. Oh, actually, that's right. They play the wraparound games. They play the A's Tuesday. We have an early game with Rodriguez, so I guess we'll have a lineup in him. That helps him a lot. If he's in the lineup, obviously you want to start him. If he's not in the lineup, then you got to listen for quotes from the manager to see if he's close or not. We mentioned Frankie Montas going on an MRI on his shoulder, possibly going on the IL. I mentioned I dropped him. You seem like maybe you didn't fully agree with that.
No, I don't disagree with it. Okay. Actually, I think you're accurate in doing so. It's a tough cut to make.
Yeah,
though.
It was a tough. It was not an easy cut. It was a mildly aggressive drop, but I just don't see him. I don't see him helping down the stretch. And I can pick him up next week if I can. I can try to pick him up next week also if he's going to come back and start. But I didn't start him this week. I sat him this week as it was. So it was like he was at my point where I wasn't even starting him anyway.
Yeah.
Eugenio Suarez went on the IL with a broken fingertip. Didn't really sound great. He's quietly been pretty good power-wise.
Yeah, he's been durable too, and now this happens right at the wrong time. I think he sat out a game like second game of the year and then played every game since then.
It's a pretty quiet 31 bombs for him.
Yep. He still does his strikeout thing. He's walking a lot though. So even though he's only hitting 235, he's got a 335 OBP. Yeah.
He's been a plus player for them this year.
Yeah. And when a lot of other guys have fallen back or struggled a little bit, he's been able to do that. I mean, he's not getting hurt by his home ballpark. 811 OPS at home, 799 on the road. You like seeing that too.
Career high WAR too. Like he's been one of the better years of his career for sure.
Yeah.
What does one do with Zach Wheeler this week? He's pitching. He's coming back pitching on Wednesday, but they mentioned he's going to be piggybacked by Noah Syndergaard. They're going to leave Bailey Falter in the rotation. Can you throw Wheeler this week? Because you can't. It's hard to see him getting to 5, right?
Especially because they're facing Toronto too.
Yeah.
I think I probably. I mean, the standard. Well, I don't know what your options are. Answer, but at the same time. Yeah, probably not.
I think
probably not rolling with him.
I gotta wait a week and hope that he throws twice next week in relatively normal starts. Is kind of the hope there.
Yeah.
Ramon Laureano, just to summarize a terrible A's year when the IL with a hamstring strain. To me, that's total drop. Cut City. Trevor Rogers was an interesting one. He'd come back and finally pitched well. Yeah. He left his start on Saturday with lat discomfort. There was enough lat discomfort in there that I actually dropped him this week.
Reasonable.
I don't see him making a start this week, and then you're looking at maybe one next week. I couldn't do it. I know they haven't really ruled him out or put him in the IL, but I have trouble seeing him make a start this week.
Yeah, I agree with that.
His velo is down, lat discomfort. Like it was a no-go for me. And it's funny. I tried to drop him a couple times. He came back, pitched pretty well for 3 starts. So I thanked him for that. And I I finally shoved him on his way. It was a tumultuous relationship for me and Trevor this year.
Yeah, it sure was. You snagged him in Yahoo Friends and Family too, right?
I did.
After I cut him. Yeah.
After you cut him.
Nice.
And then he was actually my SP1 in my Vegas main league. If I had taken
I remember
just
that.
about anybody else, we talked about last week about my how good my offense is, how bad my pitching is. I would have had a really good team there if I had picked almost anybody else there.
Are you still winning the Hot Air League?
I am. I'm still winning. The lead is not as big as some people make it out to be. I know Paul Spohr mentioned how dominating it was. I think it's like 8 or 9 points right now. It was 16 for a while, but it kind of goes up and down based on if I have starters going that day, I go up in strikeouts or down in strikeouts because the offense doesn't move a lot. It doesn't move a ton.
Well, yeah. Well, it's hard to move the offense when you've got 70+ points in offense.
Yeah, and the runs, home runs, and RBIs are uncatchable. So those don't even really matter.
That's nice. It's so weird to see a team that's winning pretty comfortably with such bad pitching stats.
Horrible pitching stats. Yeah, Aaron Judge in the end of the 4th round tends to make things happen pretty well.
Yeah, it does. It's nice.
Yeah, and it was funny because I went 3 hitters and I was like, I have to pitching hand. Then Judge was there. I'm like, I'll figure it out, but I can't not do it at that point.
Yeah.
Sometimes the can't not do it actually works out, and he's gonna.
Even when you don't actually figure out the pitching part, that's the amazing thing,
right? Yeah, that's the funny part. Is they think maybe I would have figured it out, but I haven't quite yet. Trevor Story missed the whole week with left heel soreness. We talked to him last week, and we talked about you can't play him this week. It turned out to be correct there. He didn't play all week. Ran the bases on Sunday, but I mean the Red Sox just have no reason to push him, right?
Correct. I could not play him again this week pretty easily.
Yeah. I think I'd probably start out the week that way. Alejandro Kirk has missed about 5 straight games with a hip, but he's expected back on Tuesday. Big news there. Obviously, you have Kirk, and catcher's tough to come by. You can start him this week, assuming he plays, but it sounds like he's going to play on Tuesday. Real quick, Harrison Bader likely back on Tuesday. We mentioned that. Sounds like they're kind of lining up everybody else to play outside of center field because they're going to give Bader center field. I think maybe they have to after making that trade.
Yeah.
Freddie Peralta threw off flat ground on Saturday. Expect to pick for this season. That's a drop city too. It's just not going to be enough innings to be workable fantasy wise.
Right.
You mentioned Tony Gonsolin, good bullpen session, but Dave Roberts finally said it's unrealistic to get him built up before the postseason. He's been saying it's going to get him built up for about 3 weeks, and now it seems like they finally admitted that he's probably not going to be built up for the postseason.
Yeah, and he may not be ready for the postseason.
Yeah.
For that matter too.
I assume if they use him, it's as a reliever. I can't see him starting in the postseason.
Agreed.
Before we get out of here, where the Dodgers? The Dodgers go what? Do they go Urias, Kershaw, Anderson, May?
Kind of depends on how May finishes.
For a team with 150 wins, that it's funny that we're kind of sketchy on what they're going to do from a rotation aspect.
Yep. He don't think he has a chance?
He could. I mean, it's kind of those last 3 guys are kind of 3 guys for 2 spots, right? I think you're probably right. I think probably how they finish. I think if one of them really steps up and throws some gems, is probably someone they'll use. And May pitched really well this week for the first time in a while. Since the first time this like that first start. I just think maybe they're going to want a righty in there too, because that's all lefties otherwise.
Yeah, for sure.
May's the only righty option.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Some of the chat mentioned they've been riding Julio Rodriguez all year. Come on, buddy, don't let me down. I think he'll be all right. It was sounded like some back soreness. I think he'll probably hit play tomorrow and hit 3 bombs the way that Julio goes. The dude has been unbelievable all year. All the stolen bases have been way down the second half. Obviously, he just doesn't. They don't really need him to run, but has been a drop there. He's hit more home runs. That's kind of about it in terms of news and notes. Carlos Rodon left his last start for 5 with a blister. Sounds like he's going to make his start Tuesday. That's obviously big because if he pitches Tuesday, he's probably going to go twice this week. And you got Colorado, which is a little sketchy, but then you got Arizona. You want those two starts from Rodon.
Arizona's kind of scary.
They are. At least they got a lot of lefties though, so maybe the lefty aspect there helps. But
yeah.
Musgrove and Yu Darvish shut them down pretty well this weekend. So maybe good pitching gets them, and they get bad pitching. But it was San Diego. The San Diego guys got them, and Snell pitched well on Friday night. San Diego finally quieted their bats down over the weekend a little bit.
Yeah, they did.
So, Jeff, anything else on your mind over there? I think we've kind of hit all of it. We've talked about a lot of guys, and maybe it'll help you down the stretch here. 2.5 weeks left. What's on your mind? Anything else?
I mean, just hyper dive into the categories if you're in a category league, and just good luck.
Are you a game watcher here down the stretch when it's stressful? I'll look at the box scores later. Where do you?
I'm a game watcher. I mean, I love watching baseball. I mean, I start to get stupid little superstitions, and I'm like, wait, just what? Stop. Watch your closer. I mean, I always say don't watch your closer. It's a line. But that actually, because the thing is, I can't watch Ian Kennedy anymore, but fortunately I don't have to.
Yeah, don't do that anymore.
He's gone.
But
am I going to watch A's games to watch Domingo Acevedo? I might not.
That might be a check the box score, but but if you got a good pitcher pitching, like I'm usually watching, I watch Dylan Cease. I watch the guys that I have that are pitching well, just because they're fun.
I feel like my batters are the ones I'm having a hard time watching these days. It's like every time I watch, Stansby striking out or Eloy hits into a double play. When I don't watch, Eloy goes 3 for 4 with a homer. So.
Yeah, I feel like it's which category you need. Like I need RBIs every time my guy comes up with 2 on. It's a ground out or a strikeout. It's sometimes tough to watch.
Just give me something to dream on here.
Last question before we get out of here. Someone in the chat asked about Jack Flaherty. Do you think he is usable, not usable? His last start was 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, and 5 strikeouts against Cincinnati. This week he has 1 start against at San Diego.
Oof. He's had 1 good start really since coming back against the Nats.
That second one had 0 strikeouts, which is not great.
No,
and 4 walks.
Yeah, I don't know if he's done, but he's also he's not back yet either.
I'm probably watching this at San Diego start and then making a determination for the week after based on that.
Agreed.
Obviously, as you say, your mileage may vary, depends who you have available, but I'm holding him, and I'm probably going to watch this start though, and from the sideline, and then maybe get back in on him next week if he pitches decently against San Diego.
I'd agree with that.
Beautiful. Well, thanks everybody for listening to the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. We always appreciate it. We have, what do we have? 2 more, Jeff? Is that right? 2 more weeks?
Yeah. We might do a wrap up.
Yeah, we'll probably do a wrap up.
Yeah.
Depends how the end of season goes, Jeff. I might be in the mood to talk about it. I might not. We'll see how it,
you and me both, brother.
We'll see how it works out here at the last 2.5 weeks have a lot of meaning to them if you know what I mean at the moment. So, we'll see how it goes, but we'll probably do some sort of wrap up. The season ends on a Wednesday. I'm sure I'll be ready to talk baseball by Sunday, hopefully. But thanks everyone for listening tonight and all year long. If you listen to us on the audio version, we appreciate that. If you've been watching us live, we also appreciate that too. If you could rate and review the podcast, if you hit the like on the YouTube button, all that stuff does help us out a lot. We really appreciate it. Thanks everybody for listening. Hope everybody has a fantastic week. We're back at you next Sunday night talking some more baseball. Take care and have a great week.